First, I'd like to give a special thanks to Paramount Motors for making this video possible. They supplied the car in today's video, and I'm a past customer. They are a very nice dealership, and I've had really good experiences. I highly recommend them if you're in the market for an electric vehicle. They are located just south of downtown Seattle, near the old Rainier Brewery. Hi, this is John with the Evolving World. Today I'm doing a video on a 2013 Ford C-Max Energi. This is a plug-in hybrid. This is the SEL trim package. The color you see is platinum white metallic tri-coat with a stone leather interior. This particular model is a fully loaded model. It has the upgraded stereo, the power liftgate, active park assist, and panoramic sunroof. This video will be basically shot in 4 segments. The first segment will be myself walking around the vehicle, just showing you what it looks like from the outside, zooming into some details if there's anything that kind of stands out to me, tell you my impressions of the exterior. And then the second segment will be the interior, and that's basically just stepping into the interior, looking around, pushing buttons, honking the horn, turning on the wipers, kind of playing with the video display, so all the kind of things that you might encounter when you're inside the car. Third segment will be driving impressions. I'll take it on the road, take it on some twisty roads, take it on a highway, go through a tunnel, kind of show you what impressions are as I'm driving it. And fourth segment will basically be just charging, any kind of charging issues I have or any delights that I find with the car, and then any kind of final thoughts. The first thing you might notice about the Ford C-Max is how it looks kind of similar to the Ford Focus, and that's no coincidence. The car actually is a Ford Focus. The platform, the chassis, many of the components of the car are exactly identical. In fact, in the US, what makes it different than the Ford Focus is primarily different bodywork, and all of them are hybrids. There's actually 2 hybrid versions. There's a regular hybrid, and then there's plug-in hybrid, which is what this one is here. The overall look is very clean, modern, and conservative. It's not going to offend anybody, but it's not going to get your heart pumping either. Power is supplied by an electric motor located in the front of the car, as well as a gas engine. The electric motor puts out 118 horsepower, 117 pounds of torque. And the engine is a 2-liter Atkinson style, 141 horsepower and 129 pounds of torque. The car does propel itself on electric mode quite nicely, but if you do want maximum acceleration, both the motor and the engine have to kick in and work in unison together to get that performance. The 0 to 60 time is 8.2 seconds, which is pretty swift. The EV range is 19 miles. And when you're in gas mode, you'll get about 38 miles per gallon combined EPA. And like with the Ford Focus, the car does have grille shutters in the front, which is what I'm focusing on here, looking at. It's kind of interesting that they have this. So this is to retain heat in the engine when it's cold outside and makes it a little bit more efficient, keeps the aerodynamics a little bit cleaner. Another delightful feature is it does have a true independent multi-link suspension in the rear, which definitely helps out with the ride and the handling. Unlike a lot of the competition that uses a simpler beam axle, which is not an independent suspension, it's actually a hard axle. This particular model does have the foot-operated power liftgate, which is quite handy, very useful. Although you do need to have the key in your pocket, it cannot be just in the vehicle. You have to have it on you for it to work properly. And this brings us to the cargo capacity. Now, the battery pack takes up a pretty significant amount of the cargo space, as you can tell. Actually, let's talk about that first. So the battery pack is a 7.6 kilowatt battery pack. It's 84 cells, 3.7 volts per cell, weighs about 272 pounds. It's actually supplied by Panasonic, and it's air-cooled, actually. It seems to me, with the fact that this vehicle is higher up than the Ford Focus, that they should have been able to find some room underneath the seats or something, but instead they put the battery above the rear axle in the back, and it really eats into the cargo space. They still managed to get 19.2 cubic feet of trunk space, and when you fold the rear seats down, it increases to 42.8. Another benefit of having the battery in the back is the weight distribution is 55-45, so it's a pretty balanced car. Oh, very roomy car. It's actually very nice with this panoramic sunroof too. It lets a lot of light in. It's a nice option to get.
This one has the optional leather interior too, which is pretty nice. It's not exactly super soft, but it's almost kind of hard. It's kind of like vinyl actually, but 60/40 folding seats. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is kind of interesting. So we have 110 volt AC, 150 watt. It's a little different. Only other vehicle I've seen it on is a Mitsubishi Outlander, actually. That's for the back. Very airy back here. I like lots enormous amount of headroom. If you're a taller person or if you're wearing a hat, you'd have plenty of headroom in here. So how to put the back seats down, I'll show you right now. It's pretty simple. Push this button here. Just grab this lever right here. Pretty much does it with one hand. Interesting little Easter egg here. If you remove the right mat here in the back seat, you got yourself a nice little hidden spot right here for hiding something. And also, looks like the tire pressure or the tire inflator is down here as well. And on this side as well, driver's side. So we got a little, whoop. Okay, well, so much for that. Oh, God. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so how do you open it now? If the thing's broken. Oh, we have ourselves a nice little container down here. Take my word for it, there's a storage compartment down here. We will put that back and nobody will know. Very easy to get in and out of this vehicle. It feels more like a CUV. Everything's so upright. CUV or SUV. Definitely like this panoramic sunroof. Noticing, not to start off on a negative level, but I was noticing this door seems a little squeaky, kind of I don't know if that's just this particular example, but it seems a little flimsy right here on the door handle. I just noticed that because you notice it right when you open the door. Hopefully that's just this model. Oh, look at that. Power retracting shade from the front to the back. Who else does that? We've got a... It's still fabric though, so it's like you can still see there's still light coming through. It's just not enough to... It's interesting. I haven't seen anything quite like that. I mean, there's net and then there's solid shade, but this is something in the middle where it's just a... It's a solid shade, but it still lets a little bit of light through. It's interesting. Never seen one go to the back. You can pause it, change it, adjust it. Interesting. So this has a forward by touch. I think it's first or second generation. It's not the third. Other people have said that this is not the easiest to use system. I don't find it to be too bad. I mean, I've actually used their third generation before this generation, which I believe this is the second gen. It doesn't seem like it's all that bad. I mean, it's not probably not the most intuitive. I mean, you gotta... Although I don't find it to be too bad. So left buttons for that screen and right set of buttons here is for the right screen. Just gonna go through here, just do some stuff. It is a little bit confusing here to use the controls. So you have this over here to control that, but then this is a different format, so this doesn't have the same, so you have to kind of touch it. And it's not the fastest reacting. There's no feedback or anything. There's no beep or anything. You can see there's kind of a delay, a little bit of a delay there. Still not too bad. I wouldn't say it's just a little bit getting used to. Breadcrumbs. Let's do that. CD player here or something. Huh. Yeah, it's a little odd. Yeah, this car has active park assist, so it helps out a little bit with the parking. If you want that, maybe we could try that a little later. Climate control is kind of we have controls here, but there's also stuff up here too. Yeah, this is kind of it's not the best idea here to have that in the way there. This roomy glove box. Seat heaters work a little bit differently than some of the cars. This one has a dial, and there's no actual button to turn it on. It's just by dial. So you turn it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Power supply, cup holders. Very deep compartment here. Another 12 volt, looks like. Got some RCA left, right speaker and video, looks like right here. SD card. Oh, look at this. We have one in here too. USB ports, 2. This car is pretty enjoyable to drive. I like the handling. It tends to coast though. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's more like an automatic transmission, but you can go down to low. You want a little bit more regen. Yeah, it works better like on a road like this where you want to kind of engine brake or do the equivalent of engine braking. Regen brake when you go around these corners. Ah, yeah, it's definitely better. I like it in L. It's a very roomy car, this car is. As far as passenger area, I mean the cargo area is a little bit sacrificed, but the area up here is very roomy, very almost like excessively so. I mean, you got a massive amount of headroom up here. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you want to wear a 5-gallon hat or something while driving, this is the car to do it. And kind of like the Leaf, in fact, the first generation Leaf. Also like the Leaf, it has this as I was saying, also like the Leaf, it has almost exact same A-pillar design here, where it's kind of right in your line of sight when you're going around these corners. It's really annoying. I don't like this at all. It's just right in your face. And the windshield is like about a mile away. I mean, you can't touch it if you tried. I mean, you'd have to get one of those 3-foot hand reaching devices, you know, those things that have to extend way out. If you want to reach back, I mean, you just can't. It's just like it's way out there. Not that you need to do that, but I mean, there's a lot of solar gain coming in here. Imagine in the summertime when you're driving, you get a lot of heat gain coming in here. Yeah, I like the handling, especially when you put it down in the L mode. It's definitely better than drive. I mean, this is a pretty big vehicle as far as weight and everything. It's this thing's 3,860 pounds, so almost 4,000 pounds. It definitely feels more like a CUV as far as ride height. Yeah, this is quite enjoyable actually. Definitely likes the corner. Good acceleration, about 0 to 60 in about 8.2 seconds. I'll illustrate that a little bit later. But in order to do that, the engine has to kick in and assist a little bit, so it's not pure EV mode. There'll have to be a little bit of gas assistance for that. Ride seems pretty good, even on these bumpier, kind of busy, kind of cornery type roads here. We caught a Prius. Drives pretty smooth on the transition from electric to gas. If you hit the gas button, if you hit like the EV button down here to force the gas engine on, it's pretty smooth, like you don't even notice it. It's really handy when you're driving on the highway where you actually get pretty decent fuel economy at about 42 miles per gallon on the highway, so it's kind of good to use the gas when you're on the highway and then save the electricity for around town when it's more efficient, better used. So this car goes about 19 miles EPA, and I find that to be about pretty accurate. Like all EVs and any battery electric vehicle of any sort is going to be affected by the weather. So on colder days it will be less, and then on super hot days you'll probably get a little bit extra. Nobody else around, and here we go. That's floored. Wow, a little bit of a delay. That was kind of weird. Drop out, then the engine kicks in. Okay. I still have 2 miles range, so probably should have been a little bit quicker there. That was kind of odd. But it does need the engine to get full acceleration. So here's a good example why you want to save the battery. So I put it in EV mode now again. Took it off of auto. Yeah, this is the most efficient way to drive at this speed is in EV mode. There's no reason why you want to be in gas mode at this point. Although I do notice that it's the throttle's kind of funny sometimes. Like it's like right now it feels like it's on and off. It's like it wants to go and then slow down, go, slow down. It's not very smooth to moderate when you're driving these slower speeds, unless you just just let the car just kind of creep on its own. But as soon as you give a little bit of gas, it wants to kick in and go. It's not very smooth. It's kind of jerky. It's a very easy car to drive, very smooth car. Has a good ride, has good handling too, which is a nice combination. The cruise control is not the smoothest operating in the world though. It's not very easy to get it fine-tuned. It works, but just fine-tuning it is not the smoothest operation. You could improve upon that a little bit here. If I wanted to go into it, I have to hit it. Set. But if I want to just go a little faster, it's like it won't. I'm going to keep pushing it. And then it starts to react a little bit. That doesn't tell you by how much it's adjusting it. It sort of reacts, but not really. If I want to coast, I gotta push it 3 or 4 times. Okay, now it reacts. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So yeah, it has the 3 rings around the plug there. That's how you know. So it's flashing one portion of the ring. So because we're only down to like 1 mile. So as it gets further along, there's more sections of that ring become solid. As you can see right here, we're like at 1 mile. Now it would be nice to know percent of charge. State of charge is always good to know. I know there's a place in here somewhere. See if we can find it. Let's see. Yeah, this is not the most easiest thing to... Oh. I know what music. And then that turns on the AC for some reason. And then this is down here. Turn it off. Oh, power off. Okay, here we go. Something. We got charging. Ah, here we go. Very nice. Here we go. That's what I want. So it tells you right there. About 2 hours to full charge. This car only charges at about 3 kilowatts per hour rate. So it will take about 2.5 hours or so. It says we're at 5% battery. Translates into 1 mile right here. Well, that's going to do it for this review of a 2013 Ford C-Max Energi. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe if you did. Many more videos to come.